Okay, scientists, I'm going to show you how to run the different tests on these rocks and minerals. You will need to have either printed out or taken note of our recording sheet, as well as this will help you, a rock and mineral physical characteristics guide. This was in the Nearpod that if you're an at-home learner, you can print out or just access it to refer to it, especially when it comes to hardness. We'll need some help with that. So let's start with number one, our sample number one. The first thing on our recording sheet says color. So let's look very carefully at the color. I would describe it as brownish gray with white marks. Be detailed, remember. So I'm going to write that down. Brown, gray. Okay. The next test is the streak test. Now what we are testing for is if this was crushed, what color powder would it leave? To do that, I have just a piece of white tile, and I'm going to carefully make a scratch. And I did not think this would happen. It's really hard for you at home to see, but it left a white streak. I wonder if you can see it. It left a white streak. At first I didn't think it was working, but then when I pulled it away, white. So under streak, I'm going to write white. Next is hardness. The mineral or rock is very soft if I can just scratch it with a fingernail. Nope, that didn't work. So now I'm going to try a piece of copper or a copper penny. I actually have a piece of copper right here. It came in the testing kit. I do see a scratch. It may be hard for you to see. So using the Mohs scale of hardness, copper penny is 3. So I'm going to write for hardness a 3. Cleavage is a tricky one. We want to look for cleavage, how it breaks. So if this was a larger piece and it broke, is it smooth with flat surfaces? It can be described as perfect, good, imperfect, or poor. How do you think this one broke? I wouldn't say it was smooth, flat surfaces. Go ahead and record your thinking here. And finally, luster. How does it shine? You can use a flashlight. I'm going to use a flashlight on my phone. And does it shine? No, I would use the word possibly dull. It is not shiny. So I'm going to read dull. So I have recorded my data for sample 1. You'll go through sample 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 doing the same thing. Testing for color, we just use our eyes for that. Streak, hardness, cleavage, and luster. Now you may ask why I had, this is a slide for a microscope. It's a piece of glass and a nail. If the copper didn't work, I would try the nail and the glass to see which would cause a scratch. Remember, it's fingernail, then the copper penny, a steel nail, a glass plate, and that's what you use. So scientists, go ahead and do the other 5. If you're an at-home learner, we will provide you the data so that you can try to determine what is the mystery sample. Remember, you're trying to determine which rock or mineral each of these 6 samples